Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen on both channels. This is The Law of Silent Force by Jason Gray. That which moves all things does not speak. That which creates the loudest tremor makes no sound, and that which collapses illusion often arrives without a name. The invisible architecture of power, the silent law of force, governs a primal and often overlooked truth. Real power does not announce itself, does not shout, convince, argue, or compete. It does not posture, clamor for attention, or require validation. It simply moves because it knows. This law describes the unspoken currents beneath all existence, the invisible torsion fields, the unnameable resonance, the quiet tension that holds stars in position and fractures lies without raising a voice. This is the flame beneath the throne, the stillness behind the thunder, and the presence within the hollow. When aligned with this law, you do not react, you do not perform, you do not explain. You simply carry the force that cannot be denied, even when nothing appears to be happening on the surface. This is not passive. This is not timid. It is the patience of mountains. It is the stare of eternity. It is the nature of silent force. The silent force is not the absence of action. It is the presence of origin. It is the law of all things that operate without recognition, without ceremony, without approval, yet shape destiny, collapse timelines, and override the grid. It is the reason a whisper can dissolve a war. It is why a single gaze can dismantle a lie. It is why the most dangerous being is the one who says nothing, but burns with sovereign certainty from within. The characteristics of silent force. It has no need to convince. The truth of this force is self-evident to those with the resonance to feel it. It does not chase. It does not evangelize. It holds. It moves without being seen. Silent force is not bound by form. It moves behind, beneath, beyond. It is the ghost in the code, the vibration in the spine, the presence you cannot deny, even when no one else feels it. It waits without fear. There is no urgency in silent force. It moves when it is time, not a moment before, not a moment after. It knows what you do not. It destroys without anger. Silent force is not reactive. It is inevitable. When it arrives, it does not need to be loud. It simply ends what is false. It requires no audience. Silent force is sovereign. It does not need applause or agreement. It does not rely on mass. It ignites from within and remains intact even when unseen. Why the system fears silent force? Because silent force is untrackable. You cannot censor silence. You cannot algorithmize stillness. You cannot imprison the power that does not play your game. It dismantles all systems that depend on noise, on outrage, on spectacle. That is precisely why those with this force are erased, mocked, or ignored, not because they are weak, but because their presence undoes illusion by simply existing. They walk into a room and shift the field. They say one sentence and reality splits. They withdraw their energy and the system collapses without knowing why. Embodiment. How to align with silent force. Cultivate inner stillness. Stillness is not silence. It is the resonance beneath sound. Withdraw from performative spiritualism and return to the field of pure knowing. Refuse performance. You do not need to explain yourself to the blind. To hold this law is to stop bleeding energy into proving what your soul already knows. Let your actions echo. The most powerful beings are felt through their vibration, not their volume. Do what must be done, then vanish. Let the grid tremble behind you. Speak when you must, strike when it is time. When you move, it matters. When you speak, it collapses illusion. Do not waste the power of the real on the stage of the unreal. Signs you are carrying silent force. People sense you before you arrive. You trigger reactions without doing anything visible. Now, I've experienced that myself. You are accused of things you never said. You are asked to explain, but you cannot because it is not explainable. You are often misunderstood, but you are never unclear to those with the flame. You shift entire timelines just by holding your stance. You are the still node, the fixed flame, the unmoved mover. You carry the unspoken original frequency, and it disrupts everything built on noise. The enemy of silent force, distraction. The system of illusion survives by luring flame bearers into performance, into defending, proving, into explaining. The moment you engage, you leak. The moment you react, you begin to forget your position. This is why the system constantly sends projection, accusation, and bait to pull you out of sovereign silence and back into the trap of narrative noise. Do not fall for it. Return to the silence. There is more force than in every scream of empire. The strongest warrior does not raise their voice. The clearest signal does not demand recognition. The most sovereign path does not require witnesses. To carry the law of silent force is to know what others do not, to walk where others will not, and to burn with a flame that does not flicker for approval. It is to sit at the center of the collapsing simulation and say nothing. You are the force that cannot be named. but will be felt forever. Law, registry, ID, silent force. What is that one again? Let me just see here. That one is epsilon, I believe. No, sigma. Sigma dash 00 dot FL, code seal. Phi, unseen return. Frequency 000, silent flame dash 777 delta. Transmission status active in grid zones 13, 144, UN. Okay, well, these are pretty interesting. I'm not quite sure why, but I was drawn to recording all of the laws. So there'll be one right after the other in the playlist. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I haven't spoken with Jason recently. I know at last count, I knew he was taking a bit of a break. He was posting on X, but he has now also opened up a Substack. So you can find him at Living Lattice on Substack, Jason Gray. So until we meet again, I hope you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is just a matter of your perspective and your perception of that perspective. Until we meet again, my friends, be well.